and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in, temperature-controlled, high-end wine bar. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for wine, beer, spirits, and cigars. Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln. For over 15 years, Integrated Life Choices has empowered individuals with disabilities in Lincoln and throughout Nebraska. They provide comprehensive services from group homes and independent living services to job training, ensuring fulfilling lives for those that they serve. Now, they're inviting you to join their mission. If you are passionate about making a difference in the lives of people with developmental disabilities, explore rewarding career opportunities with them. Learn more about their services and apply today at www.ilc.net. Be a part of Integrated Life Choices, where your work truly changes lives.
For the second year, the Nebraska Lottery's NASCAR Powerball Playoff promotion has roared into our state, and the excitement is throttling up. Until June 24th, buy a Powerball ticket with Power Play and Double Play. Enter the voucher number, and you could be one of 15 Nebraska winners of $1,000 and the chance to win a VIP trip to the NASCAR Cup Series Championship weekend, plus a shot at $1 million. Enter today. Powerball top prize odds 1 in 292 million.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Are you looking to get into the electrical construction industry or wanting a new scene? The electrical workers of local union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
It's time for the finish line with Bree Fansteel and James Rowland. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Start your engine!
Welcome into the finish line at 93.7 The Ticket. I'm your host, Bree Fansteel, joined by my co-host, James and Ben with the magical buttons. And then we also have a special guest, Chris Harrison, with us today with the SCCA and his experience on and off the track. Just a reminder for those who are joining us that you can listen to us in your car and on our 93.7 The Ticket app, and also watch on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook, and the Allo channel 961. You can call in or text. We love when you text in to 402-464-5685 and chat on YouTube. So if you have any questions at all during the show, let us know. Ben will give us a holler, and we'll be sure to get to as many as we can. Also, this show is brought to you by Stern Company and Eagle Raceway. So we're super grateful for those sponsors. If you have a chance, go ahead and check them out. We've got a lot to talk about today, so we're going to get started right away. James has got some race roundup. What do you got, James?
Well, I got a whole bunch of stuff.
Bunch of stuff. We like that.
Yeah, I went to more racetracks than you did this week.
Okay. Ooh, calm down.
Oh, sorry.
Is that flex? Is that a flex?
It is. I felt flex.
I think he was flexing there.
It felt
You're
like a flex.
flexing.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Well,
Chris.
it's about the only way that I can flex.
I've been to more races this week than you have.
Well, to be fair, I get to more races in a week than most people.
Yeah, this is true.
I mean, isn't it? I mean, it is your job.
Sometimes.
Well, okay. Anyways,
I mean, it's
what
really
do you
my
got
fun
for
job.
us, James? at the
Sorry,
many
we're
tracks
giving-
you went
Yeah,
to.
we're giving you a hard time. You go with it.
All right. Well,
Shine, you little star.
we'll go ahead and get it started off with Formula One, or as I like to call it, the Max Verstappen Show, as it was the Max Verstappen Show. In NASCAR, the Xfinity Series win went to Shane Van Gisbergen. Yes, that's right. That's how you pronounce it. It's not that difficult. NASCAR on Fox. And then today, just this afternoon, like a half an hour before I even left the house, they picked up the win over at Sonoma Raceway. A guy that you can check out at Eagle Raceway on Tuesday night picked up the win, Mr. Kyle Larson.
Ooh,
in the
that's gonna
NASCAR
be
Cup
so
Series.
much fun. Henry and I are going, and we are pumped.
All right, well, we might as well get into this just a little bit. If you haven't heard, you must have been sleeping. High Limit Racing invades the high banks of Eagle Raceway for the Bikini Zone Eagle Nationals from the High Limit Sprint Car Series showing up Tuesday night. We are going to have that place absolutely packed
That's
and
gonna be a
rocking.
blast.
Over 10,000 people. Just kind of talking to some of the people that I know throughout the industry, it sounds like there's going to be a lot of World of Outlaw drivers that are going to use one of their 4 kind of freebie nights to go participate with the High Limit, because I don't know if you noticed on Facebook, but they actually upped the purse again.
Really?
Yeah, it's now going to pay $55,555. Yes, I did practice
Chris,
that, so I
have
wouldn't
you ever
stumble
raced
on
for
it.
that much money before?
No, and I certainly have never won that much money racing before either.
Have you spent that much money before?
I'd rather not comment. My wife might be listening. So.
Oh, yeah. That's
Hi,
a
Tina.
good point. Yeah, hi, Tina. So, yeah, we'll actually get into some racing. Well, that's a lie. First, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know where Mother Nature won this week. It's a kind of short list because I kept writing it down and then I just kept getting sadder. Beatrice Speedway, Boone County Raceway, and Mini E Raceway all got rained out, much to the kids' chagrin. A little bit later last week, we had the Dirt Crown Stock Car Series running at a couple of events throughout the area. The Battle at the Beaver went to, there we go, Jake Masters, Waukene Speedway, Kyle Pfeiffer, and Troy Burkhart picked up the win at Thomas County Speedway. Big 3-night swing for some big money for those guys. Then Thursday night, I ventured over to the US 30 Speedway, where Bree, you were greatly missed. Pretty good night of racing over there at the home of Thursday Night Thunder in your hobby stock. Jason Wilkinson picked up the win. Riley Ozentowski in the Sport Mod. Stock cars went to Cameron Wilkinson. Modifieds to Jared Hoffleman. And Crown Vics to Dalton Young. And here is my one complaint of the evening from my trip to the US 30 Speedway. Well, I'm a little bit spoiled hanging around at Eagle and Beatrice.
And all the racetracks you go
And
to.
all of the wonderful, and I
all
love
the
US
races
30
you go
Speedway.
to.
Yes, all the races.
There's
The more
definitely
races,
no
I'm
dig
great.
here. Well, I am up to 16 on the season so far.
Oh,
So
wow.
catch up, Porch Sitting Bree.
Ouch!
So at Eagle, you know very much, it's been pounded in your head since you were a child racing go-karts that you get to staging before it's time for your race.
Yeah.
Well, our races were done on Thursday night, and the trailer races that were supposed to go afterwards, they needed some motivation.
Well, they're newer to it.
I'm not a stopwatch guy, but they needed about 14 minutes and 38 seconds and 33 milliseconds.
Maybe
worth
they
of
needed to get
motivation.
prepped. Maybe they needed to do their hair or something. You don't know, James. No,
All
I'm
right.
kidding.
Well, let's talk a little bit about doing your hair. Bree,
Oh, gosh.
what kind of hairstyle do you have to do to put that helmet on?
A ponytail. Sometimes a braid. I don't know. I just like stuff it into behind like my collar in my jacket.
Oh, okay.
It gets so knotted by the end of the night. There's nothing fancy happening. I'm really
wouldn't
just
think
hoping
so.
the dirt and the sweat, it's so gross. The dirt and sweat just kind of like mold this hairstyle for me. So if you ever see pictures of me after the races, they are not.
That's your best
Gorgeous.
moments. It's your best moments.
Unfortunately, yes, they are, but they're still not great. Like I've got hairs all over the place. It is a mess.
Do you keep hair care supplies in the trailer, like blow dryers, everything? You're ready to rock and
Ooh,
roll if a
that's
photo
a-
Yeah,
opportunity comes
actually, I
up.
have a curling iron and a straightener and
A 6-foot mirror?
a 6 foot. It's 7 foot actually.
Whoa.
Get it right.
That's another flex.
Ballin'.
Flexing.
Bree is just full of the flexes today. Moving right along, toddling and dawdling. Let's see, Saturday night over at the Junction Motor Speedway, they got 3 features completed. I didn't quite get the gist on that one. I didn't know if there was some weather in the area or what, but your Sport Compact winner was Trey Hinton. Sport Mods went to Ryan Arbogast. And your Malvern Bank 360 sprint cars finally got a show in, and Don Drought Jr. picked up the win. If you are tuned in right now over on Dirt Crown TV, you can catch the Malvern Bank 360 series down at the Dawson County Raceway in Lexington, Nebraska tonight, going on right now.
After the show.
Hey, I don't know
not
about
right
you.
now.
I don't know about you.
Not
rookies.
Not allowed.
Nothing's
must-
happening right
yeah,
now
you-
until the show's
you-
over.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
This is the only thing that you can watch.
Well, to be fair, I
Yes.
don't think they start for about 22 minutes,
That's
and
still going to be during the show, James.
well, they can still tune into both. I know that I would. We have these things called multi-TVs and
Nope.
split screens.
Never
and
heard of
different,
her.
But then they won't have their attention on this show. See? That's the problem.
Well, then put your focus on this show and watch the Dirt Crown heat races as background noise. Anyways,
there we
moving
go,
right
there
along
we
over
go.
to the world famous Knoxville Raceway on the Marion County Fairgrounds, Ben. Picking up the win in your pro sprints, it was Chase Young. The 360 saw Aaron Reitzel, and in your 410 sprint cars, Carson McCarl picked up the victory. Then moving right on down the road to America's home track, One Badass Racetrack, the world's fastest third mile, the place that you need to be this Tuesday night for your high limit sprint car series. Eagle Raceway capped off night number 7 of their IMCA weekly racing program. Stock car winner was Kyle Vanover. Sport mods went to Adam Verbka. Modifieds to Sean Harker. Hobby stocks to Dylan Richards, the only guy that apparently knows how to celebrate a victory. And sprint cars went to Jack Thomas.
Now.
What? You're good. You are going to call me out about this celebration?
No, I think
Because I came prepared.
I know you did. I don't know. I've got mixed feelings. I think celebrating's awesome. You know, we're racing for ourselves, but we're also racing for our fans. So I think when you can get a celebration in, you should do it. I was sensing after the sport mod one, I don't know if anybody really wanted to celebrate. I mean, don't get me wrong. Verbka, he did awesome. The guy's always on a rail. I can't think of anyone else who's deserved it. You know, he got track champion last year, but didn't get a feature win yet. And he's always raced me really clean, so I don't have any problems with that. But geez Louise, that was a mess of a feature on Saturday. What was going on? James, you saw it. I was on the catwalk having a heart attack. Now Verbka, he went like 14th the first. That's awesome. But what was going on behind him?
To tell you the truth, I don't know. I hate to pull out the old adage of sport mods doing sport mod things, but this looked like 7-8 years ago. It was a little bit rough last night, and that's not a dig at the track. That's not a dig at the competitors or anything, but yeah, holy smokes, that was a.
But see, that's one thing about Eagle Raceway. You can count on there being action.
Oh,
it'll be ugly, it'll be pretty, it'll be whatever it is, but there's always going to be action at Eagle Raceway. So if you guys are able to make it out on Saturday nights, go to Eagle Raceway, get your butts in those seats and those bleachers at 6 p.m., grab you a beer, grab you a corn dog, whatever you got to do. The walking tacos are fantastic.
You know, I counted last night, and we have over 16 options for ice cold beer.
What?
Yeah, in our beer stands.
that's
That doesn't count your mixed drinks or your Speederitas, your Eagle Melons.
Speederitas.
Yeah, Speederita. Made with Jose Cuervo Gold. I know, because I helped Dan truck it in.
Well, other than that, I think there's a lot of great action going on at that track. Of course, with Mini E, I feel so bad. You did say Mother Nature won. I think she's cheating at this point.
Yeah.
There's no way you get that many wins, and Mother Nature is cheating. I'm saying it here. It's happening right now on the ticket. Mother Nature is a cheater. Luckily, Blue River was able to get their races in. The winners of today's features went to Easton. He picked up a couple of them actually in different classes. We had Henry, Riker, Mason, Aiden, Gary, Dan, Derek, and Amber all took home the checkers today. So that was pretty awesome to watch as well.
Absolutely. Another little high limit quip that I forgot to mention. Picked up the win on Friday night over at the I-70 Motorsports Park in Kansas City, and also was the first high roller to roll into this beautiful big city of Lincoln, Nebraska. Rico Abreu is currently posted up over at the Russes in Havelock if you're looking for an autograph. Yeah, he showed up a little bit early. But Rico's got a couple of Nebraska ties. You know, he married into the Cornhusker family.
Go Skurs.
Go Skurs. We still got a couple months for that. Let's keep the focus on racing. I mean, we just did pick up the Big Ten title in baseball the other day, if you watch back on that program.
I did see that. I wasn't here,
Oh,
but I
yeah,
saw
that's right.
I saw a bunch of baseball players taking over the mics on a motorsports show, and I got a little concerned until it clicked. My brain needed to work a little bit on that one, but I saw it and I thought that was pretty cool. Other Cornhusker things happening, other things happening here in Lincoln, Nebraska, in the capital city. BMX. So we had Tyson on a couple weeks back talking about BMX racing. Star City BMX was able to race on Wednesday, and they had some winners. We had Luke, Gage, Wilder, Ryder, Elijah. It looks like Kian. I know he does Nowhere BMX as well. I think he just broke his collarbone actually in a stunt show. So prayers going out to him. We had Brooks winning, Trenton. It looks like we also had Nolan, Scott, Luke again, Jace, Cohen, Keaton, and Anthony Slivka rounded that out for the winners over there. So if you are able to make that out, usually they practice on Wednesdays, I believe. I think they have like a Riders League going. I know they were off this Sunday, but they should be back to racing action next Sunday as well.
Good deal with the BMX stuff. I don't know. One of these Wednesdays, we're going to have to go out there and try that out.
Maybe.
You
I
think
mean,
you
I
can
will.
hack it?
I was talking a big line of.
Did you know how to ride a bike when you were growing up?
I would say know how to. I rode a bike like I drive a car, just always crashing into things.
Okay.
That sounds dangerous.
Yeah, and expensive.
If Bree's going to get out a BMX bike, I'd like an invite for that. Please.
Okay.
Oh, so Chris is gonna ride with us then.
Oh, I'll ride with you if you're riding. Absolutely.
Oh my god,
By the way,
Ben.
And by the way, who is this talking right now? Did you even introduce your guest yet, Bree?
Yes, I did. I
Kinda.
said Chris
Very
with
briefly.
SCCA.
Okay.
What
So
were
she
you
started
thinking?
talking about her
Ben,
hair.
quiz
I
time.
did. We were talking about my hair. Sorry, guys.
Okay, I was just making sure we introduced our guest.
Yes.
So people know who we got in studio.
Yes, we've got Chris with us. So Chris Harrison with SCCA.
You did say it. I remember. now.
Previously with SCCA. We're going to talk about, what on the track, off the track is like with you. You've got a way more expensive car than I do. So if you were to let me drive it, I'd probably ding the wheels up. And that wouldn't be, see his face. For those listening and not watching, his face was very passionate about a no.
had a bit of
I
a
saw a
grimace.
big no
we can
going
talk
on
about
there.
that. We can talk about it.
So, okay. So let's
Negotiate.
talk about that. Who are you the only one who drives your car when you go through these courses? Is there anyone else who does it?
Yeah, so it's actually called solo. So you're
Okay.
you're one person at a time. I have in the past with previous cars had co-drivers,
Okay.
including some buddies and my wife. But it's one person at a time. Rubbing is not racing in SCCA solo.
Oh, that's boring.
Which is autocross. Solo is autocross.
Okay.
Same with rallycross. So rallycross is probably a little bit closer to what you guys are familiar with on the dirt, but it's still, you turn more than left. You turn right too. So,
Oh gosh,
We
I don't
do
think
that
I
in
could get
circle
that.
track too.
yeah.
The
Well,
left is hard enough for me.
yeah, you got to turn left and right. Sometimes right after one another.
So what is the track composed of? Is it like just a course with lines? Do you have cones? Do you have
I was-
barriers? What do you have?
I was kind of curious about that too. I mean, just watching a lot of different forms of motorsports. Are you guys ever on like purpose-built road courses, or is a lot of it the autocross, or a majority of it, I guess, the autocross stuff where it's a cone setup layout in a large lot?
Yeah, that's a great question. So for autocross, it's going to be set up with cones.
Okay.
And usually there's some lines that are chalked, especially for the newer folks to help find their way. There is SCCA road racing as well, which is competitive road racing. I've never done that one just because I don't have a car that I'm comfortable rubbing somebody with. But autocross is cones, rallycross is cones as well. Very little possibility of damage to your vehicle, which
That's
is nice,
nice.
which is kind of what got me hooked
Bree
on there.
needs that.
Okay, well, calm down. It's only funny if I make fun of myself.
All right,
No,
I
I'm
guess
kidding.
it's Pile on Breeze Sunday here on 93.7 The Ticket on the finish line.
See us weekly. No, that's very interesting. Who are the tracks always the same? Like, are you getting used to a certain amount of turns, or what?
Yeah, so that's another great question. One of the things that I like the most about autocross or solo is it's a different course every time you show up. So you get the opportunity to walk the course and kind of visualize your lines. And typically for a local event, we'll get 5 or 6 runs typically. For a national level event, you get 3 runs on the course and that's it. So it's a very mental game. in trying to read the course at speed, but also remember some of the key points as you're walking it in preparation. But everybody gets the same amount of runs, and then you'll virtually never see that course again.
Interesting. I like that. So you say it's a big mental game and there's a lot of preparation that goes into it, but if I'm understanding correctly, you are just seeing the track for the first time as the rest of your competitors. You don't have a lot of time. What do you do to get in the right headspace?
Well, that depends on the day and what headspace I'm in. But yeah, racing in general is a mental game. What you guys race, which with those kind of pots, maybe I need to start looking into turning left every once in a while.
I might hit you.
Yeah, there you go. But
wow. Okay.
No, it's funny. I made it funny.
Okay.
Please, nobody come after me.
I thought it was funny.
No,
she probably means that in a couple different ways at this point, but we'll move right past that one. But yeah, no, it's for myself personally, I've been doing it long enough that when I'm walking the course, I'll try to do 2 or 3 course walks. They're about anywhere from a mile to a mile and a half long for our local events here. We have one of the best sites in the country. So if you're in Lincoln or Lincoln area, this is truly the best place in the country to get started in autocross. But I can usually read the courses pretty well at speed. So I'm looking for, there's usually on every course about 4, maybe 5 main spots that I'm looking for, and kind of planting that in my memory of, I need to make sure that this is an area that I pay attention to. Everything else kind of flows together, but this is a pinch point, or this is what we like to call sucker cones, where it's visually trying to draw you in when you really should be out. And it really messes up the line past that. So I'm sure everybody that's ever raced competitively or not even is familiar with kind of that not being on the right line.
Sucker cones is giving off infield tractor tire vibes. James, were you? We were making eye contact.
That is actually that is kind of what I was thinking of. It's like, I guess those sucker cones kind of sound like infield tractor tires, but it made me want to question you. Have you ever ran over the cone on the front stretch?
Me?
No, Bree.
No, I went under it once.
Under it?
How do you go under a cone?
Well, the person in front of you doesn't go, and you've got a couple laps to make transfer, and you get a little aggressive, and you and the other person go around them.
That was just recently, wasn't it?
Yeah, sure. I thank you guys for watching and supporting. That was my mistake. I definitely got called on it. Learn to race another day.
Before we throw it to break, because we're gonna have to go to break, we had a comment on the Facebook stream saying, "Love the helmet." I mean, you guys brought in a helmet. You got? I mean, I know like radio people can't see it, but do you want to explain what you brought in today?
Okay, so what we have here is a beautiful, wonderful gloss white Rollin' Race News Zamp helmet out of James's garage.
That actually never got out of the closet.
Ooh.
I bought that back when I started the podcast thing several years ago. I was going to kind of use it as a marketing tool for when I went up to like Joe's Karting and did some karting adventures and stuff. And then a friend of mine actually gave me the same helmet in black with 2 knights on it. And I'm like, well, I guess I'll put the 3rd night on it and I'll just wear that one. And then that one ended up sitting in the closet, brand new in the bag. And Bree's like, hey, we should get a helmet so our guests can sign it. And then maybe we can do something cool, like auction it off for a charitable donation or something at the end of the year.
That'd be fun to do. Get like a different one every year and acquire more and more signatures from our guests. Me and James obviously had to sign it. But we have
I'm honored
all
to
these.
be the first guest to sign your helmet as well.
Thank you, Chris.
Not only
we
the first
appreciate
guest, but the first person, possibly the most wins in the room.
Debatable.
Probably.
Never won that kind of pot, though. I'll tell you that.
Neither have we.
I picked up one heat race win over at the Butler County Motorplex many a moon ago.
Hey, a win's a win, and it is fun. But we do have all of these amazing Husker football helmets.
Yeah.
And my mom had actually made a comment to me one night because she loves to give me constructive criticism, as most moms do. And she's like, well, where's the race helmet? Dang it. And we're like, that's actually a fantastic idea. So James, I like your idea of maybe raffling it off for a charitable event at the end of the year. So we'll definitely have to do some marketing on that and get everyone's opinion on what your local favorite charity is. But before we get more into that and more into SCCA with you, Chris, let's go ahead. We're going to take a break. Make sure you stick with us on 93.7 The Ticket. We are the finish line.
You can get diesel anywhere. But what about
Atomic Diesel?
that comes from Stern. Atomic Diesel is your solution to all your cold weather problems. Prevent clogged fuel filters, increase your fuel economy, and save money with
Atomic Diesel.
Contact Roger at Stern today by calling 1-800-477-2744 to see how
Atomic Diesel.
and the rest of their line of fuels and lubricants can keep your operation running at max capacity.
For the second year, the Nebraska Lottery's NASCAR Powerball Playoff promotion has roared into our state, and the excitement is throttling up. Until June 24th, buy a Powerball ticket with Power Play and Double Play. Enter the voucher number, and you could be one of 15 Nebraska winners of $1,000 and the chance to win a VIP trip to the NASCAR Cup Series Championship weekend, plus a shot at $1 million. Enter today. Powerball top prize odds 1 in 292 million.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Have you been accused of a crime? Is your liberty and freedom at stake? At Liberty Law Group, we are committed to defending the liberty and pursuing justice for those accused. Going to court is stressful, overwhelming, and full of uncertainty. At Liberty Law Group, we carry that burden for you. When legal troubles are keeping you up at night, trust Liberty Law Group to fight your battles. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. That's 877-42-LIBERTY.
Problem gambling affects millions of Americans daily, of all ages and walks of life. If your loved one is struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
Bagels and Joe is the perfect place for breakfast or lunch in June. Try any of their delicious breakfast burritos or sandwiches for a great summer breakfast with the family. And don't forget, 10% of all Karma Latte sales in June go to the Casa for Lincoln County. 4 locations in Lincoln and 1 in Seward. Bagels and Joe. Looking for a job that feels like family? Join Lincoln Industries, where tradition meets innovation. They're a family-owned, privately held manufacturing company with a passion for excellence and a commitment to their community. They have openings on all shifts at both the main plant and air park facilities, offering flexibility to fit your schedule. Whether you're a seasoned professional or just starting out, there's a place for you there. At Lincoln Industries, they invest in their people's success, providing opportunities for growth and advancement. Apply now and become a part of something special at Lincoln Industries. You already know that Select Plumbing takes care of all your plumbing needs, including water heaters, faucet repairs, leaks, drips, sump pumps, and more. Now, they're able to help you with your heating and air conditioning as well. Select Plumbing has recently expanded into residential heating and air, and they're excited to bring this new service to their complete list of plumbing services. Call to book an appointment today at 402-560-6197 or go to selectplumbinginc.com. Serving Lincoln, Seward, Milford, and the surrounding areas.
At Southeast Community College, community is our middle name. Our continuing education classes offer personal interest, traffic safety and licensing, online learning, and adult education classes across Southeast Nebraska or online in your own home. Learn to ride a motorcycle, how to start a small business, how to dance, or take a course to advance in your current career path. See the full schedule of continuing education classes online at southeast.edu/continuing. SCC, your path to possible.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now. In our new time, we're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Back to the finish line with Bree Fansteel and James Rowland on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to the Finish Line, where we talk all things motorsports. We are joined by Chris Harrison talking about his experiences on and off the track with SCCA. Remember, you can listen in live on 93.7 FM, theticketfm.com, YouTube, Twitch, X, and Facebook Live. Check out on your favorite podcast platform the next day as well. And thank you all for texting in. We will be getting to your questions shortly. If you think of one, please go ahead and send it in. We will also get to it as well. James and Chris, we were talking a little bit at break about a little bit SCCA things.
Could you have raced that orange car that was just out there on O Street?
Funny enough, that's basically what I have. So yes,
I saw that
what is
picture.
that?
I kind of queued you up for that one. Yeah. Tell us a little bit more about the car that you do drive, because it looks like something cooler than what either of us drive.
Yeah. So
bit.
Currently, and it recently new to me is I've got the new Z06 Corvette. It is orange, so that's kind of my thing. Previous to that, what I have probably most of my experience in is my C6 Z06, also orange. Raced that for a lot over about a 6-year period. Prior to that, I had a different Corvette. And then what really got me into the sport was my old F-body Camaro that I had built. And kind of an interesting story with that. I didn't know what autocross was, didn't know what any of it was. And I thought I wanted to do drag racing. So my entire car was torn apart. Engine was at the builder. And a buddy of mine kind of drugged me by my ear and said, "Hey, you need to come check this out." And I looked up some videos online. It looked kind of slow. Like if you watch videos of autocross, it looks slow. And I was like, I don't think this is something I want to do, but I'll go ahead and give it a shot. And
race is a lot faster than it looks.
Yeah. What you experience in the car is completely different than video really shows. And I was hooked. And so I effectively kind of zombie builded that drag car into a road course autocross car. And actually I put that on tour for a couple years before I finally got tired of square peg round hole and jumped into the Corvette world.
It seems like quite a big move to roll up to. Is that something that I'm sure that there's different levels to it, but can you drive your car to the racetrack and then back home, or is it kind of a trailer operation at the level that you're in?
Yeah, so that's a great question. Especially at the local level and really any level of SCCA autocross is it really is run what you brung. We've had you'll see anything from Miatas to 4-door sedans to fully purpose-built carbon fiber body race cars. So there's a class for everything, I like to say.
How about a 98 Mazda B3000 4-wheel drive pickup?
That one might be tough. There are height restrictions, height and width, and we want to make sure nobody rolls over. That doesn't happen very often, but there are some pickups that do run.
Daily.
Yeah, maybe throw some coilovers and lowering springs, and you probably could make it work.
Slam it to the ground.
Yeah, no.
So I'm curious. You've gone through a couple different cars that you've raced with. I'm curious on a little bit of the mechanics. So I'm going to start firing off different questions to you. The first thing is, what's the horsepower difference in what you started with and what you're in now?
Well, I started with a 96 Camaro. It was an LT1. And, stock, those are probably 290, maybe 300 horsepower. I don't know. I had built the motor, heads, cam, all the fun stuff that you like to do when you're younger and make it loud and the cam sound. And that was about a little over 400 horse when I was done with it. My current Z06 is 670.
Okay.
So anywhere from 250 to almost 700, I've got some experience in. I've also driven a lot of other people's cars as well. Anything from Miatas where, you get a turbo Miata that's got an extra 10 horsepower and that light and nimble car, it makes a huge difference.
Mm-hmm.
So it truly is run what you brung, and you can have a lot of fun no matter what you're driving.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. For me, it's, go-karts. I'm still having a lot of fun versus a big car. So we've got all this horsepower here, and you're trying to dodge these cones, right? You're trying to make it around the cones, for lack of better words. How much of that are you actually using, or is it more dependent on like torque or things like that? Where is this all coming into play?
Yeah, course design makes a huge difference with that as well. So there's what we call like a momentum course, which is really where the Miatas shine. And we have a couple different timings. So there's raw time, which is your actual time that you get when you cross the line down to the 100th of a second. And then there's packs, which is kind of it's a way to equalize the classes. So it's kind of almost like a handicap, if you will. So it tries to, my car should run this time, this car should run this time. So the packs time is like that equal medium, so that we're shooting for that. It's an equation that they add to it, like 70% of it.
Oh, math is involved.
Yeah, math. Well, you don't have to do it. The computer does it for
good.
you. So
Had me a
you're
little
off
worried
the hook,
there.
Bree. But there are some courses where higher horsepower really makes a big difference, and a lot of courses where it truly is momentum. So it's really not about the power. It's about suspension setup. It's about really what it comes down to is it's the driver. It's what's
That's
happening in
good.
between the ears there. I've seen people, national champion level people, get into a bone stock car that is on old tires, really high tread wear tires, not even a race tire, and go out and just destroy the field, just because it's a driver's game.
So I'd assume a lot of that has to do with how they're braking, like trail braking, and how hard they're entering the corner, how hard they're exiting, how soft. Like, what do you, without spilling too many speed secrets, what does a normal average corner for you look like? How are you getting into that corner?
Well, autocross, especially road course, can be similar depending on the course and what you're driving, but really the tightest line typically is the fastest line. And when we're talking tight lines in autocross, I mean, we're within 6 inches of the line, not 3 or 4 feet. Can make a huge difference. And remember, we're going to like the 10,000ths of a second for timing. So if you go to scca.com and look at the nationals results, which just happened over Memorial Day weekend, you'll notice all of the classes, the top 10 or 15 people are separated by about a half a second.
Holy moly.
That's how tight the competition is at the national level. Local's a little bit different, but still a lot of really good, fast local competitors here in Lincoln for sure.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. James, could you imagine what that small of an increment of racing on a dirt track? Could you imagine what that would be like with 10 to 15 people?
I mean, you think about it, just from the level of closeness and how difficult that would make passing in like a passing situation, that we hear about that a lot in like the NASCAR level, about how tight people are running, and it just makes it that much more difficult to pass because the guy that's in first is running virtually the same lap times as that guy in 15th.
Well, and it's probably closer to like the qualifying rounds for NASCAR and F1, where you're not on track with somebody else wheel to wheel.
Okay.
You're just putting down the fastest time that you can,
like
and
qualifying.
then competing. Yeah, it's effectively like qualifying. So your fastest time out of the runs that you get, either 3 or 5, that's the winning run for you. And then it's how do you stack up in your class, which could be 5 people, it could be 75 people. It just depends on the event.
What gets your adrenaline going when you see a list of 5 people or when you see a list of 75 people?
Probably the more people, the better. It's when you get doing this for a while, a lot of the names pop up the same. It's no different than the racing that you guys do. There's some, long-standing competitors in the sport. So really, that's what gets me fired up more is who's going to be there.
Yeah,
I want to make sure that it's a competitive deal. I don't like to be the only one in my class or like just a couple, unless they're really good, fast competitors as well. I like as close of a race as possible.
Yeah, you don't really want to go out there and just be like, oh, all right, I'm clearly the best one here. I don't want people to think that I'm here to cherry pick or something.
Top 10 and there's only 8 that showed up.
Oh, there's that confident Bree that we were missing out on. Hey, this
what?
kind of sort of slightly way off topic. You had said speed secrets, and this might become the section for the old folks. Do you remember the TV show Speed Secrets?
No.
You'd have been just a wee one. It used to be a local TV show on Channel 8. Area announcer Wayne Dake used to host it. I mean, I was a kid back when this was on. And Wayne did this show on Channel 8 right here in Lincoln for, I don't know, 4, maybe 5 years. And I've recently started trying to kind of get a hold of Wayne and see what I can do about getting the entire collection of that show
That'd be cool
to upload it to YouTube so people can see that. Like, I was over at the Sanfords earlier working on my pickup, and we got to talking about that show, and he was reminding me how him and his dad were on it, and Rhonda Muse and Kaylee Diekman, and there's just so many people that we get to watch race at our local level on a Saturday night that were on that show, and it'd be kind of fun and kind of embarrassing to unearth that. So if anybody knows how to get a hold of Wayne to get the ball rolling on that, let me know.
Yeah,
and now back
definitely.
to your
That'd be very
regularly
cool.
scheduled programming.
So I was thinking, I was just watching go-kart races today, and I was talking to some buddies about, speed secrets, how you're trying to get the cart to handle, and you're always trying to keep the front wheels straight in flat kart racing as much as you can so you're not scrubbing speed. And I actually got a chance with Chris and Tina earlier last year, I believe it was. They wanted to show me a little bit of SCCA, and I was like, man, this does look don't come for me. It looked a little boring from an outsider stance, but
Absolutely does.
just wait. Thank you, Chris. I was able to be in the passenger seat, and I about got like a belt burn from all the braking and accelerating, and it was insane. But one thing I was noticing is you were trying not to drift. Am I correct?
Yeah, sliding is not going fast. For
Sliding
sure.
is not
You're
going
trying
fast.
to limit that as much as possible. It's maybe a little bit different in dirt because you're trying to set yourself up to exit as quickly as possible, and sometimes you have to drift on dirt. There's low traction, but for sure in autocross, drifting is just scrubbing time. And when we're talking thousandths of a second difference, what
you
feels
don't
like
need
a
that
very
wheel spin.
small drift that could take 2 seconds off of your time. If you blow through a corner and start sliding or pushing, or that could take a full 2 seconds off, and you're not even close at that point.
So sliding, that's making me think, is there ever like gravel on these tracks? Because you go to airports, right?
Yeah, so we rent space at the Lincoln Airport for the Nebraska region, and then various other regions across the country have different sites. No, we try to limit the amount of gravel as much as possible. So they use street sweepers. The airport is awesome, and the National Guard out there, they're awesome about helping us take care of the site.
That's good.
But yeah, eventually after enough cars run, you're going to have a relatively clean surface no matter where you're at.
That's good. Does that many? So James, you know all about this. The tracks rubbering down. You're watching, these dirt tracks all night long, more than I am even, and maybe that's my problem. Only a couple of nights a week, every race. No, but do you guys have that where you're getting rubber laid down on those courses and they start to get faster as the night goes on?
Yeah, so we have that, actually two parts of that actually. So it'll start to get faster, it'll get cleaner, and you do get some rubber every once in a while. But then you've got the problem of what we call OPR, which is other people's rubber stuck to your tires. So
can we bring that into dirt?
Yeah, so you'll actually see people at the really competitive events like nationals and mid div with a like a multi-tool, jacking up their cars in between runs and actually scraping all of the OPR off of their tires because you want as much friction on the ground as possible.
Absolutely.
To kind of keep it.
Yeah, they get, especially the stickier, racier tires, they'll get a little bit gummy, and they'll just throw big pieces of rubber and they'll stick to your tire.
Do they use that stuff?
Good
yeah,
stuff.
you know that stuff.
The juice.
They be spraying on it.
Like the drag racers do at the
You
start.
know that good old tire dope, man.
Yeah, no, nobody uses anything like that I'm aware of. In
so
fact,
is
I
that
don't think it's
illegal?
legal. I don't think
Okay.
it's legal, no.
So much like our forms of motorsports, you're definitely not supposed to be using the tire dope. That's one of them speed secrets we were talking about.
That's a cheating secret. Are there cheaters in your sport? Do they
Well,
get caught?
Yeah, I think in every sport there's cheaters, and it really depends on the class. I've really elevated to the street class rules, which are a little bit limited in what you can do for modifications on the car, which really makes it more the driver and less excuses that, oh, well, I need new coilovers or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's been stories throughout the years of people putting tunes on their cars and mild cams, and there's a protest protocol that people can take if they feel the need to protest or feel like somebody's gone against the rules, or maybe they gutted their cats but put them back on, things like that to pick up a little extra power. But
you even still have to run a full catalytic converter like emission setup
in the street class. Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
Well, let's talk more about. I want to hear about the craziest cheating experience that you have heard of or witnessed right after break.
I ain't never
We
gonna
will be
forgive him for
back
that.
on 93.7 The Ticket. This is The Finish Line with Ben, Bree, James, and Chris Harrison with SCCA.
Your business runs like a well-oiled machine. It's important that your actual machines do too. Stern is here to make sure you don't have to worry about that. They provide solutions for heavy equipment and automotive fuels, lubricants, and equipment guard options. And with Stern's commitment to customer service for the past 40 years, you know you have a partner to help support your operations for years to come. Contact Roger at Stern Company by calling 1-800-477-2744 or visit them online at stern.co. Stern Company, where problems meet solvers.
Be a memory for your grandchildren. Among Nebraska adults age 65 or older, 47% report current alcohol use. Drinking too much can cause harm to children, family members, and loved ones. By drinking less, you will still be around for your grandchildren. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
Spring often marks the beginning of severe weather, which can lead to power outages. LES wants you to be prepared before the storm. Restock your emergency kit, update your info with LES, and if you encounter an outage, report it at les.com/report.
John Henry's has a brand new membership club to protect your entire home in one program. With a VIP and a deluxe option, we will help you find the plan that best fits your needs. Receive discounts on services and equipment, priority service, complimentary inspections, and so much more. Protect your home's plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical systems all in one membership. Call John Henry's to learn more.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
And electrical.
Ironhide Construction is a Nebraska-based general contracting and steel construction firm. Their expert team is experienced in building innovative construction solutions across several industries. While they were previously known for their extensive experience in steel erection and metal buildings, they've continued to evolve over the last several years into a full-service general contracting firm. They take pride in their commitment to quality, cutting-edge technology, and having a passion for what they do. For more information about their services or to discuss an upcoming project, visit www.ironhideconstruction.com or call 402-420-4961.
This is Brad with Midwest Bank, proudly serving our Nebraska communities for over 70 years. We're a community bank, making local decisions, supporting local organizations, and helping local businesses and farms succeed. We are dedicated to serving our clients and helping them meet their financial needs with sound, innovative banking solutions. From an array of checking and deposit accounts, cash management services, to small business, real estate, and ag lending. We're here for you. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Find out more at midwestbank.com. Member FDIC.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
A team succeeds when they work together. Banking's no different. At UBT, we're in your corner for every financial move you want to make. Your money's backed by a roster of experts who put in the work to know you and your community. So whether you're opening a savings account, buying a home, or planning your future, you always know who to turn to. Working together toward your financial goals. That's a win in our playbook. Union Bank and Trust. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Spring often marks the beginning of severe weather, which can lead to power outages. LES wants you to be prepared before the storm. Restock your emergency kit, update your info with LES, and if you encounter an outage, report it at les.com/report.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
back to the finish line with Bree Fansteel and James Rowland on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to the finish line on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Remember, you can tune in live on YouTube, Twitch, X, Facebook Live as well, or check out Next Day on your favorite podcast platform. I am Bree with James and Ben, and we are joined with Chris Harrison as he's talking about on and off the track with SCCA. Before the break, we're talking about Cheater Pumpkin Eaters, and I would love to know what the wildest thing you have heard of that maybe somebody thought they were getting away with, that there is absolutely no way they were going to, and what I want to know a story. I want to know a juicy, dramatic story.
Yeah, you would ask for that. And that's actually a tough one. One thing I should say about most of the folks I've been involved with SCCA is they're pretty upstanding. And it doesn't happen in solo as often as you might think it would. But at the national level, more often than not, there's a protest, every couple years. And you hear, the problem is a lot of times I don't hear what the actual results of the protest are. But things like, changing out internals of engines that you can't see visually. So part of the protest procedure is the person protesting can request the engine get disassembled and inspected.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
do they pay for it, or does the person who's getting protested
it's who
pay
loses
for it?
the protest ends up having to pay for it.
The bill, they get the bill afterwards.
Yeah,
Okay.
You get things every once in a while, like changing out gears, like differential gears, which in certain classes are not legal, or putting a limited slip in versus an open diff. And those things happen, I think, pretty frequently. At the local level, I've never seen a protest, even at the divisional level. But at the nationals level, it does happen from time to time.
That's actually very refreshing to hear. I know we hear of different scenarios of people, like we were joking about earlier, doping tires, or turning their rev boxes up, whatever they're doing. Everybody jokes about it, and it's refreshing to hear that there is other motorsports that are not doing that, at least on the local level.
Yeah. Well, just remember, SCCA we're not racing for $55,000 purses. There's no money involved. It's really bragging rights and some plastic trophies at the end of the year, and just hanging out with your friends is really what it's about. So at the local level, for sure, people show up with completely misclassed cars and nobody really cares.
Really?
You show up with tires that are racing slicks in a class that you have to have a street tire on. Nobody really says anything, as long as you don't do it consistently.
Yeah. Just kind of a slap on the wrist for that one.
Yeah. Usually people that show up with an unprepped car, they're relatively newer, so we take that opportunity to teach them. And it truly is a driver sport. So the amount of people that show up and are actually good at autocross, their first time of ever doing it, that would be an alien. Like it just doesn't happen. One of my favorite people in the SCCA community is Sam Strano. He lives in Pennsylvania, and he's big in Corvettes and Camaros and suspension. Strano Performance Parts is his company, and he always tells a story about his first time autocrossing, and he ended up going like backwards on course. He was so bad, like just awful. And I can relate to that. My first time autocrossing, I DNF'd or do not finish because I got off course. Didn't know it. I DNF'd every single run and didn't know it until the results were posted the next week.
Oh, man.
They don't tell you? No one told you?
Back then, the timing system was a little different, and just the way the everything was as far as posting results was a little bit more delayed. Now you can go to live.nrscca.com during the day of the event, actually see live timing, but we didn't have that back then.
You mean you don't have a guy in your ear on the receiver going 33B, hold on?
Okay,
that would be
hasn't
cool.
happened yet this year, so calm down, James Rowland.
I couldn't resist. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, you're doing fine. I mean,
we'll keep
I
talking.
think you're doing
Anyways,
great. You beat
Chris,
Cole Wayman a couple weeks ago.
SCCA
That's a deflection, Bree. That's a deflection.
That is a deflection. Good
Nice
thing we're
deflection.
talking motorsports.
But on that note, actually,
motorsports have receivers.
On that note, actually, receivers and all of that. One of the things about the SCCA is to keep the cost in the barrier to entry down. Right. This is not something you're doing for money. The goal is to keep the barrier to entry as little as possible. So show up in what you drive to work in, as long as it's not a truck that's high off the ground or some SUV that's high off the ground. And you know, it's very low entry fee, and you know, we don't staff it with paid staff members, so everybody volunteers to help work the day, and you just have a work assignment as part of your run group as well. So
what kind of safety equipment is required to get into something like that?
Yeah, so all you really need is at bare minimum the factory seatbelts of your vehicle.
Okay.
You need to have a helmet that's approved, so I think it's 2020 or newer, SA 2020 right now, and that's about it. Closed-toed shoes, and then rock and roll.
All right.
Can you wear like shorts, or do you have to wear like full length pants?
I prefer to wear shorts because it gets really, really hot,
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
especially in a July event
Do you-
on concrete.
So do you turn your air conditioning on? Do you have your windows down? What's that
The
about?
horsepower.
The windows will definitely be down, and that's kind of a safety thing. You want to, if there is an issue, people need to be able to get to your car. That's the same
Mhm.
as on a road course too.
Really?
You'll always have your windows down. But no, I don't run my AC, and I recommend that nobody does because they condensate, so they drop water. I don't know how much of a difference that truly would make, but if you have 100 cars going the
Yeah.
same line dropping water, I could see that maybe skewing things a little bit.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about the condensation aspect of
Yeah,
that.
no, that's a great point. Now we're talking inside the car, and I know what I used to do as a youngster in the go-kart, which I shouldn't have done, and you should not be doing, kids, is I would be listening to music when we were younger. Do you listen to music? And if you do, what do you listen to while
I
you're
have,
racing?
and it just depends on what's on Spotify. Usually it's right up as I'm pulling up to the line. I'll have it blaring. It's got to be pretty loud because I've got a helmet on.
Mhm.
But I usually turn it off, and I turn all the nannies of the car off, traction control, everything,
Mhm.
and try to be in silence. It's impossible to actually concentrate on any music while you're trying to navigate the course. Keep in mind, I mean, these courses have over a 60-second course. You have 35, 40, 45 turns.
Wow.
In that time. So,
Wow.
and your speeds are anywhere from 50 to 80 miles an hour, roughly.
Mhm.
So it's a action-packed 60 seconds.
That's a lot of turning. Holy moly. Okay, your first time doing it, did you get dizzy?
No, I've never gotten dizzy. I know passengers do sometimes. When you're in control of the car, I guess I've never had that experience, but
Gotcha.
I could see somebody getting dizzy.
Have you ever just absolutely KO'd a cone?
I've KO'd entire walls of cones, actually. And the funny story, I had to have the bumper replaced on my old Corvette from my co-driver at the time, and I'll give him all the you-know-what until the end of time, because before the run, we picked this, we picked those 4 or 5 spots to pay
Mhm.
attention to. And my speech to him was, don't blow through this corner because it'll be painful. Well, he took that to blow through it at about 70, take out a wall of about 18 cones,
Don't
and just
floor
completely
it.
destroyed the front bumper of the car.
Do you have like deductions for taking out a cone?
Yeah, every standing cone is a 2-second penalty.
Oh boy, that's not good.
I learned that from Bill Laster.
Bill Laster, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, 2-second penalty, and there's no really coming back from that once you get a
Yeah.
penalty. So most of these cones, you're either running over the base and just wobbling them, or you're within a couple inches of them when you're driving your tightest line.
Yeah, I haven't ever taken out a whole wall of cones, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't curious about what kind of a noise that would make.
It's a loud thump, and half the time they get stuck under the car, so you get to have the drive of shame back to grid, dragging cones underneath the
The
car.
cone of shame.
Yep, yeah. No, I've taken out walls of cones going backwards before because of a spin. So yeah, it happens. Generally speaking, if you don't hit an entire wall at 70, they actually don't damage your car. Just put
All
a
right.
little scuff, and
That
you
would
can just
make
wipe it
sense.
right off.
Sounds about the same as on a dirt track. If you don't hit that going about 70, you
Yep.
should be good.
Man, my
exactly.
clapped out Cavalier idea just keeps sounding like more and more fun.
It does.
Bring it. Well, you could actually use the clapped out Cavalier for both autocross and rallycross, which is the same as autocross, but on grass or dirt.
Yeah, I'd have fun with that. I'd have too much fun with that until I rolled it.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you again so much, Chris. Here on the finish line, we loved having you. We loved talking motorsports. James, I, myself, and Chris, and maybe Ben may still have to go to the BMX track, but we shall see. We appreciate everyone tuning in, listening, whether you're listening live or you're listening next day on podcasts. We do appreciate it. Catch us next week on 93.7 The Ticket FM to talk more about motorsports and all the shenanigans.
Catch us Tuesday at Eagle Raceway too. Bye.
Woo!
See.
You can get diesel anywhere, but what about
Atomic Diesel?
that comes from Stern. Atomic